everyone. Thanks for joining us for our Monday webinars. We are happy to be here once again talking about our new Hub 21 platform. Over the past couple of weeks, we've been taking a deep dive into different sections of the platform. And today we are talking about websites. As always, we are happy to welcome back Chris Gunn from MoxiWorks. He's going to walk us through what we need to know. We are also thrilled to welcome Paige Gregson from Vernon, BC. She has been a realtor with C21 Executives for 12 years and is a 5 consecutive year-winning Centurion and a member of the Honor Society. So Paige, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you, Lee.
And we wanted to have you because we know that you like to go and fiddle around with your website, and we wanted to show how you can go in and update and modify some of the key areas of the new websites. As everyone who has one knows, you have a template, but you really want to customize that. So I'll bring in Chris to talk about that and the importance of the customizing as well.
All right. Well, thank you, Lee, and Paige, thanks for joining us today. To start off, I'd love to just talk with everybody about some of the capabilities of the website. So I'm going to go ahead and just bounce over to a quick presentation that I've created about the websites, so that we can chat about that a little bit. All right. Are you guys seeing my screen? Paige, can you see it?
Perfect. Yeah, I can see you.
Yes, we can. Thanks, Chris.
All right, so two of the things that we're going to talk about today are your C21 website platform and Promote, both of which are powered by MoxiWorks. And really, what we're super excited about at the website is to be able to give you not just a great presence online, but the ability to differentiate yourself. And so it was important to create robust, customizable websites. And how we do that is they're based on a WordPress builder platform, which is one of the most used platforms on the internet. Somewhere around 80 million websites online right now are using the WordPress infrastructure. So it's one of the most popular types of website that are on the internet. And we've worked with the C21 team to provide a library of branded, pre-populated content for you to choose from, as well as to create designs for you to start with. So if you were to look at your site now, when you join C21 Canada, or you go to your website for the very first time, it's already going to be beautiful, right? And so there's very little that you have to do to make it beautiful, but there's a lot of ability to customize it and make it your own. We've included, working with the team there at Century 21, some really fantastic pieces of content, like a home valuation lead generation page. They were very, very adamant about having blog functionality so that you can really set yourself apart and show your expertise to people. Built right into the platform is an integration with Zillow and Real Satisfied to be able to display your leads through widgets on the page. And then also the ability to use social media modules and SEO analysis tools right there in the platform to make sure that you're getting the biggest bang for your buck out of your content. And obviously, one of the most important things on a real estate website is going to be the property search. And so we really took a lot of time focusing on the beautiful imagery of the properties that you guys are representing currently in the other properties in the area, but also including an array of search filters that are going to be consumer friendly. And so consumer being able to click in, look for the price, size, bedrooms, bathrooms, some of the key features that they're looking for, and then have really big, beautiful imagery of all those listings to be able to really narrow in on what it is that they're looking for. And then once they've done that, having the ability to set up a save search so that they can get alerted over the course of a day or a week when new listings that match their criteria pop up. And all of this is connected directly to the CRM. So when one of your clients creates a saved search, it actually associates to their profile in your CRM, so you can see what they're searching for and what the most recent saved search email that was sent to them was. And if they favorite or save a listing, you can actually see that in a section that we call faves and saves. You can click right in and see what their favorite listings or save listings are, give them feedback on them. And so it's a really seamless connection between the front end property search and what your client's doing, and then your ability to be able to service them. And in that same vein, we also are providing neighborhood news. And so it works in two ways. One is a lead capture, right? To give you the ability to provide useful content to somebody on a consistent monthly basis through an automated newsletter that's going to provide them with market data. It's completely interactive, so they can click on all the listings. They can change the area that the market report's being generated for. But also, you can set up your existing clients for this to provide them just a touch point to remind them that you're in the business, to get your name, face, and branding in front of them on a consistent basis. And this is actually one of our most popular tools built into both our website platform and Engage. It's connected to the point where if somebody signs up on your website for neighborhood news, you're going to receive an email. It's going to create a profile for them in your CRM account. And you'll actually be able to see what areas they're searching for. And so if they decide that, hey, I want to look in Vernon right now, and then I want to look in Enderby a little bit later, you'll actually be able to see them change from Vernon to Enderby. So really, really interesting way to connect with people. And that neighborhood news is going to go out every single month on the date that they've selected. And then one of the things that we're going to dive into a little bit deeper here is the website administration tools. And so you get a full set of website admin tools to be able to really customize your site. And so that includes an editable homepage, headers and footers, the ability to create property lists, create save searches, write your own blog articles, leverage vanity domains, and all the power of the Yoast SEO plugin to really know if your content is hitting home and going to show on search engines. And then a bunch of advanced features for those of you that really, really want to dive in and optimize your content. And so it's not just a web page to give you presence, it's a fully functioning website that you have the ability to really take control of and differentiate online. And then the next thing that we're going to hopefully get a chance to talk about is Promote, which is our Facebook and Instagram and Facebook display network advertising tool. And essentially, it's a 3-step ad creator that's integrated with the MLS, connects to your Facebook or Facebook business page, and then gives you the ability to advertise on Facebook, Instagram, and display network. And you can even route that traffic back to your C21 Canada website. And so you can choose the URL that somebody clicks through to, and that can route right back to your C21 website. Actually, if you are advertising one of your listings, the default behavior is to drop you right on the listing details page for your property, where your name, face, and contact information are going to be right there for the client, so that they can really reach out to you immediately after looking at that listing. One of the best things about this is after you set up a promote ad, it allows you to send automated reporting directly to your clients. And if you don't have a listing, you don't have to just advertise listings. You can actually build your brand with services ads. And so say, for example, you're predominantly a buyer's agent and you wanted to get yourself out in front of people in between listings. You could do that by advertising your own brand and maybe connecting people through neighborhood news so that they can see what the local market's looking like, or they can look at an area that maybe they've been thinking about moving to and don't have any information on. And so really, really great way to reach out. And then you can also drive leads through choosing a community that you want to represent. So I know that the Okanagan is where you're working, Paige, and there are so many beautiful communities there. I know that there's one or two that you probably like working in more than others. And so if you know that people move from one area to that area frequently, you can actually advertise directly to those movers and show them how life could be better for them in the Okanagan.
Yeah, it's great.
Cool. And so we've got a couple of one pages that we're going to make available on the Resource Center for everybody to download. And I think from here, we can just go ahead and jump on in and make a couple of website changes. What do you think, Paige?
Yeah, thanks, Chris. I really appreciate doing the website tutorial, and I see the system's got a lot of capability, and it starts with, for me, customizing the website. It's got a lot of really great content already, but I traditionally get a lot of leads from my website, and so I do want to customize it, and I think agents should do that. But so I've only been in once. How do you get there? And I kind of fumbled my way there. So where do we start?
And so you're going to want to start with typing into your browser, and I've got a just blank browser window here, my.hub21.ca. And normally this is going to take you into a login screen, but I'm already logged in as you, so it's just going to bounce me right to your profile.
Okay, thanks.
And so the URL is the myhub21.ca. And you'll see here that now that I'm logged in, and you log in with your Google credentials, it'll just pop you right onto this page here. It'll actually pop you onto your home page here, which is the C21 Hub. And to get to your profile, you can go to this little drop down over here and click on My Account. And that'll take you to your profile where you can edit any of your personal information, update any of your contact info. And we can also do some web info stuff here, and I'll get to that in a moment. But it also gives you the ability to access all of your tools. And so this top navigation bar is going to give you the ability to access your CRM Engage, present our CMA, the website, which we're going to focus on today, to view any of your listings, and then also to work in Promote as well.
Great, thank you.
All right, and so let's go ahead and pop right into your website. And to do that, I'm going to just go ahead and click My Website up at the top of the screen. And that's going to take me to the Agent Website Admin tool. But first, let's just take a look at your page. And so this is your actual website that's live in production right now. And I know that there are a couple of things that you want to add here. So do you want to talk to me a little bit about maybe one or two of the first things that you'd like to get done?
Yeah, I do. So it's really important that my listings display. Mm-hmm. And so just how to get my listings to display. And then because we're in a fast moving market, when I run out of inventory, I think there's a capability to have the office listings display. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, absolutely. And so currently on your site, since you do have listings, we've got them displaying here in this featured property module. I'm actually going to show you how to create another one of these modules that you can use. So let's go ahead and do that. I'm going to go ahead and pop back into the builder. And then over here on the left-hand side, I've got this nice long navigation here that tells me all of the fun stuff that I can do. I'm going to select property lists and then just click add new. And that's going to take me to a menu where I can add a new property list, and I can title it whatever I want to make it easy for me to find later. So let's go ahead and name this one maybe office listings. So if you run out of inventory, you might be able to show the listings in your office, for example.
Or if there's a new agent or something and they don't have any listings yet, might be useful there too.
Yeah, absolutely. That's perfect. That's a perfect reason to use this. So what we're going to do is I'm going to create a property list, name it office listings, and then right down here, I can actually just select my office's active listings, and then maybe my office is recently listed. And you'll see here that it's starting to load down at the bottom. It's actually calling up all of those listings from the MLS. And it looks like your office has 233 listings. And so we're going to just go ahead and pull all those listings in here. And so you can see the big long list of available listings to show on your site now. And now that we've got all these listings in here, I'm going to just scroll down to the bottom and click publish, and that's going to create my property list. And so now if I wanted to, for example, swap out what we've got in that featured image module, in that featured listings module, I've got this saved property list that I can use. One other cool feature of this that I want to point out is if you have very specific properties that you want to highlight, and maybe there are 6 or 7 or 10 of them, you can actually put them in by MLS number as long as you can certify that you have permission to show them. And so this is another great use case for somebody that's newer, that's just joined an office, or maybe doesn't have a lot of listings of their own, but maybe showing a bunch of open houses, to be able to pull in those MLS numbers and feature those listings on their site instead. All right, and so now that we've made this property list, I'm gonna just go click back on property lists, and we should see both. So here's your featured listings carousel and your office listings. Now if we go back to your site, we can edit this page by clicking on the page builder icon here. And so right up at the top, now that I'm logged in, it's gonna say page builder. If I just go ahead and click on that, it's gonna give me the options that I need to be able to edit your property list here for featured properties. And to do that, I can just click on the little wrench for the widget, and I can choose now from featured listings, which are your listings, or I can swap that over to office listings and then change the title. And so it's as easy as swapping over to office listings, updating this title here, and you'll see that it just updated those listings in the background. Updating the title here, and then clicking save to show office listings instead of your listings. And so if you ever run out of inventory, that's a really great way to be able to make sure that your site's always going to be displaying listings.
That's great.
One thing I do want to mention is in the template that we've built, there is a mobile, and you'll see that there's two headers here. And then as I scroll down, there's two listing sections. There is a mobile section and a desktop section in the templates that we've built for Century 21 Canada users. And this is just an optimization to make sure things look beautiful on any device. And so I do want to just call that out. If you're going to change your property list here, you do also want to change the mobile view as well.
How can you tell which one you're in, Chris?
Yeah, the easiest way to tell which one you're in is to actually just click the little row settings wrench. And you can look at advanced, and it'll tell you what device size it'll show on.
Okay, thanks.
And so that's one of the easiest ways. The other way is actually if you switch to responsive editing, the desktop version will disappear. And so responsive editing gives you the ability to edit in either a tablet view or in a mobile phone view. And you'll see that the duplicate section has disappeared now that I'm in responsive editing. And so that's another way to make sure that you're changing the right one is by using the responsive editing mode.
Okay. A quick question, just going back there, Chris, it showed an area to search in Washington. Is that just we're in some edit mode, or does that show live on my site rather than maybe in Canada?
Oh, this is detecting my location.
Oh, your location. Okay.
Yeah, and so it's detecting the location services from where I am. Normally, it's going to show a person's location. It's going to look for them, but we can also set a save search here to be the primary search that's there when somebody lands on your website.
Okay, thanks.
All right. So, what's the next thing you'd like to do on your site?
Well, I think you just mentioned about a search. So I don't know if that was the same thing. So if I wanted to create, I think there's a capability where I can create a search and feature it on the website. Can you talk about that a little bit more?
Yeah, absolutely. And so that's going to be our custom searches. And so custom search is a really great capability. It gives you the ability to one, set up searches for your navigation home bar. And so if you wanted to under find a home, which is just going to take you to the normal search. And once again, it's using my location, but I'm going to just go ahead and look for Vernon where you are. And you'll see, once again, the big, beautiful listing images, our location map here. And so what this will give you the capability to do is if you wanted to pre-populate the searches, for example, for some of your clients, and maybe Vernon Homes specifically, you can add those under your Find a Home dropdown. You can create those as property list widgets that can be dropped on a page later to really direct people to the right listings in an easy way. So what kind of filters do you think we might want to put on a search to get this started for you?
First of all, just on these, I'm seeing, I don't know that these are just my office listings. Are these all MLS that
Yeah,
have,
these are all the listings that are available right now in Vernon.
wow, okay. That's incredible that that's within our system, which I know other websites do, but I don't know that Century 21 had that capability before. So that's great. I think if you just search, say, 500,000 up to $1 million in Vernon.
Okay, perfect. And so I'm gonna just hit on the price filter and we'll do 500,000 to $1 million and then go ahead and hit apply. That's gonna refresh our listing count. Do you want to do a bed bath count or maybe a property type as well?
Sure, let's do property type. Let's just do single family homes for now.
Gotcha. Perfect. And so now we're at 103 listings. So to put this save search on your page, all I'm going to do is copy this URL right up at the top of the screen. And then I'm going to go back to my custom search page and click add new search. And then I will put in a title for this, and let's just call this Vernon single family. And pardon my spelling. And then we'll go ahead and paste that search path in here. And there's some instructions right here for exactly how to do this in case you forget. But it really is just pasting the search path in and then deleting everything before the search slash. And so everything should start with search slash hashtag status. And then you can go ahead and click save. And that's going to create your custom search that now we can use in a couple other places. And so let me just go ahead and check and make sure we've got it. So there's our Vernon single family search. And now we can use this search a couple of places. So where would you like to use this search? Do you think we should maybe add it to your drop-down menu?
Yeah, let's do that.
Okay.
And where else would I put it if it wasn't in the drop-down?
So there are a couple of places that you can put it. You can use it to create a widget, or you can even create a standalone page with a search for it.
Okay, let's just put it in the drop-down for now and see how that works.
Perfect. So to do that, I'm going to just use this add new button to create a new page. And it's going to start me with a custom page option, but I'm going to go ahead and click on here and select custom search. And then click submit. That's going to take me to a page where I can enter the title here, and we're going to call this Vernon single family. And we could even put in a French title if we wanted to. We'll skip that for now. And we'll select the search that we just created, which is this Vernon single family search. Just go ahead and click on that, and then click save. And that's going to create our page. I'm just going to save that again to make sure that it's on there. And then to go back and actually use this page, I'm going to click on Site Pages. And it should be right down here at the bottom, Vernon Single Family. And now I actually want to show this on the site. So if we go back to your site now and I hit refresh, it will actually be the very final menu item. So it's going to drop it on as the very final menu item. But if we wanted to move this, say, for instance, under find a home, we can do that really easily. So you want to give that a try?
Sure, let's do that.
Okay. And so to move that, I'm just going to go ahead and drag it up the page. And it really is just drag and drop under find a home. Drop it right there. And then scroll down to the bottom and click publish. And now when I refresh the page, that Vernon single family home is going to drop off the end. And you'll see right here that it's part of a drop-down menu now. So you can go to the regular find a home search, or if you click this drop-down, it'll give you access to this Vernon single family homes.
That's great. So I can create one for sort of every market or type of property that I work in.
Absolutely. If you wanted to create one for every market that you worked in, segment them by property type, you could definitely do that. And even if you wanted to narrow in on something even smaller, like if there's a section of the Vernon community or a specific lake or an area right by the river that you wanted to highlight, you can actually really, really narrow in if you wanted to. And so it's a pretty powerful capability to be able to zone in on a specific set of search criteria.
Yeah, definitely. I know my own buyers are all buyers. They're over all kinds of platforms and websites looking for homes, and if we can direct them to our Century 21 sites as a source of up-to-date MLS listings, then I would hope that they would come to rely on that. So I think this is a great capability.
Awesome. All right, and so let's see, what else would you like to do with your page?
I'd written down a couple things. So I understand that there's a community page. So, you know, in the different markets that I work in, I can write some content about that community and give people that are coming to my site an idea of what to expect from these communities. How would I do that?
Yeah, and so since we've been talking about Vernon a whole bunch, let's actually just create a Vernon community page.
Okay, great.
Perfect. And so to do that, once again, I'm going to come back to my site pages. And site pages is always going to be in this navigation here over on the left. While I'm on site pages, I'm going to click Add New, and then go to Custom Page. And what this is going to do is this is going to take me to our custom page builder. And it's going to give me two options to create a page. The first is this very simple text editor that you can see here, where I can add text or images really easily, or I can code with HTML. That's one way that I can create a page, but I'm going to show you the easiest way to create a page here, which is going to be to use the page builder. So first, we're going to name this Vernon Community. Hopefully I spelled that right.
Yeah.
And then I'm just actually going to publish this page first. And you'll see it's created a slug for you. So HTTP, your URL, and then /Vernon community. We can actually edit that if we want it to say something different. So if you wanted to say Vernon Homes or living in Vernon, or change it however you like, you can set what the menu item and the permalink title are going to be.
Okay.
And now let's actually build the page. So to do that, I'm going to go over to our page builder, which is a really cool drag and drop plugin for creating content pages. And so you'll see here now that I'm on a blank content page, pretty much the world's my oyster here. And there are a few different ways that I can build a page now that I'm in the page builder. First is I have the ability to use all of these rows and modules here. And these are drag and drop, where I can drag them over to the page, drop them on, and then instantly update them using the settings. So I've got standard modules, a whole list of page builder add-ons with cool banners, info text, interactive banners, photos, slideshows, galleries, flick boxes, just like all sorts of really cool animations and button types. And then I've also got property-specific widgets as well, like a subscription widgets, a contact me module, a custom search module that we'll actually come back to in a moment, the ability to show a featured properties module like I do on the homepage, or add my contact details, brokerage logo, social links, or even my reviews to any page. And so this is one way that I can build is just dragging over and dropping content onto the page. And I'll give you an example of what that would look like for, say, the contact module. I just drag it over, hit save, and it's going to load a contact form for me. And you'll see it automatically populates that big old contact form for me. I'm going to go ahead and pull this out right now, because the way that I'd like to build this site is actually to use some saved modules and rows. So we've got the ability to build like a MailChimp email, where you can actually drag columns in and then fill them with content. But we've also got these really fantastic pre-built rows that you can use that are already beautifully designed. And I think this is what we're going to want to use for our community page.
Okay.
And so let me grab a good looking content module and drag that right over. All right, and so we're gonna just drag this already good looking content module over. I'm gonna take the button out of here. To do that, I'm just gonna click the X and click remove. And then we're gonna use this to create a quick page on Vernon. So I'm gonna replace this image with a local image for Vernon. So just to do that, I'm gonna click into it with that little wrench icon, click remove, select a photo from my photo gallery. And I actually was playing around earlier and loaded a welcome to Vernon photo, but you can actually upload files directly from your computer. So if you've got files that you'd like to upload, you can actually just add them right to your library, and then you'll be able to use them going forward. And I knew we were going to be talking about the Okanagan today, so I pulled a couple of still images for the Okanagan.
Great, thanks.
So while these are loading, I actually want to show a couple of other cool features that you can add to your images, like alt text that describes that image. So describing the purpose of the image. You can leave it blank if it's purely decorative, but also being able to put in a caption for the image. And you'll see here that I've actually filled in some alt text that says "Welcome to Vernon" is the alternate text for this image. There's a caption in here. I gave it a quick description, and then we generated a link for it. And this makes it easier for a search engine to identify what that image is. So if somebody's searching for Vernon real estate or homes in Vernon, it can help the search engine contextualize the image to your page. The image on your page is being similar to content that it would recommend for people that are looking for Vernon.
Okay.
So I'm going to go ahead and select that photo and hit save. And there we go. We've got our welcome to Vernon photo, and I can stretch that a little bit. And then to edit my titles here, I can either type in to edit them, or I can remove them entirely. And so I'm going to call this Welcome to Vernon as my title. And I can change the style, which means if I wanted to update the font or the size, let's say I make this 36 pixels. I can center it. I can change the font weight. I can change the font look to look more like I want it to. And even the spacing on the line. So made it a little bit bolder, made the font pop a little bit more. And now for putting in my text, this is just a default text module. Once again, I can click on that little wrench. And then if I go to general, it gives me the ability to add text. And once again, I've got a little bit of text about Vernon that I had available already because I figured we would talk about this since you primarily work in that area. And so I want to just go ahead and pop that text right in here. And now I've got a real quick little welcome to Vernon community page where I can put on some information. If I want to add additional pieces of content, I can. For example, let's say I want to add a property list down below so that people can search properties in Vernon. To do that, I can just go back to my widgets and then grab that custom search module that we created earlier, pop it right on the bottom here, select my Vernon single family search, and then I can decide how many properties I want to display. I'm actually going to go for 2 rows of 3 and then hit save. And then I've got my welcome to Vernon and then a nice custom search down below. And I can even change what that title says. So call this Vernon Homes for Sale. And now we've got a really quick community page for Vernon that if somebody lands on it, they'll see a little bit of information about the area. They'll see homes for sale. And as you go, you can continue to build on this. So if you wanted to add a photo gallery or local points of interest, it really is as easy as dragging and dropping content from the builder right onto the page. And this is a completed page that we can publish right now. And now that it's published, it is going to be available on your site.
That's
And
great.
here, the Vernon community page. We can go ahead and click on that, and there's the page that we just created.
So Chris, if I wanted just a header that said communities, and then under it, build one of these for each of the communities that I work in, how do we do that?
Yeah, that's a really easy one to do. We can go right back to your site pages and then add a new menu item.
Menu, okay.
And so we can add a menu item, click submit, and we'll call that communities. Let's wait for spell check to catch up. All right, menu item communities. We can save that. And then when we go back to site pages, it should be down at the bottom of your list here. There's communities as a menu item. And we can drag it to where you want it to be. So we can go ahead and pop it right under Find a Home, maybe between Find a Home and Get Advice. And then that Vernon community page that we created, we can just drop it in. And you'll see how I indented a little bit,
yeah.
dropping it in. That makes it a sub page of that menu item. And now that we've got all that there, go ahead and hit publish. If I go back to your site and refresh, you've got your new communities item with right under it.
That's great. Thank you.
No problem.
I love it.
All right. Well, what are some other things that you're interested in for your site?
So I utilize Real Satisfied, and I'd like people to be able to see that right on my site somewhere and not necessarily hyperlink it or have a link to, just have it right in my site. Do we have that capability?
Yeah. And so you'd like them to basically be able to see this whole Real Satisfied page and be able to interact with it, right?
Yeah.
Perfect. And so what we're going to do to make that happen is we're going to do something called iframing this site into your website. And so to do that, first, we're going to need to get what's called the iframe code. So first, we're going to copy this URL here, this Real Satisfied URL. We're just going to go ahead and copy it. And there's an iframe generator that I like to use. And basically an iframe is a fancy way of saying a window to a website. It basically creates a window and a site page that goes to another website that lets you interact with that website. There's a bunch of generators online for creating iframe code. Those of you that know how to code are going to be able to do this pretty easily because it's just a snippet of syntax to put in iframe code. But I'm going to go ahead and guess most people on this that are watching this webinar are not developers. And so there is a great shortcut. First, you just Google iframe generator. One of the first links that's going to come up is iframe-generator.com. And it's a tool that just makes iframe code. And when you go there, it's going to look just like this. It's going to say iframe generator. There are a couple of things that I did on this that I want to point out. I set the width to 100% and the height to 1080 pixels. So 1080px. And I'm just going to go ahead and paste in Paige's link and click preview. And that's actually going to generate what an iframe page is going to look like on her site. And so this is a standalone iframe page. And if this is what I want to show on my site, after I check it, everything looks good. All I have to do is go back and click generate code. And it's going to generate the iframe code for me. And I copy it. And then I can go right back to my site pages. And in site pages, I'll just go ahead and add new, custom page, click submit. And we're going to call this one Real Satisfied.
Chris, I'm just curious, would that code be the same for everybody's Real Satisfied account with the exception of their vanity key?
It is the same and so that code would work for any web page. All you have to do is swap out the URL.
Okay.
Yeah, and so to work for any web page that allows frames. And so if you swap the URL out, you can frame any page in, really. All right, and so now that we've got this real satisfied page created, I'm going to go ahead and click my page builder. And that's going to launch my page builder. And then I'm going to drag over an HTML module and then paste my iframe code in and hit save.
Oh, there you go.
Yep. And it's going to take a second saving to make sure that it gets everything. But that's how you would create a real satisfied custom page.
Is that going to update, Chris, or do I need to grab a new, do I need to update it from time to time?
So this is a live page. It'll update.
Okay.
And so any interactions that you can have on the actual real satisfied page, you would be able to have on this page as well.
Okay, great.
And so now if we go back to your home page, this will show in your more section. And like I said, you can interact with any of the buttons here. And so you can scroll down the page. Once you reach the bottom of the reviews, it'll scroll your actual page. So you'll see that it is actually the page inside of your page.
Yeah.
And then if you wanted to say click on contact, the contact form and information still works here.
That's great.
And you can say drop display testimonials only. So all of the functionality is going to work. And I think my favorite part of this whole thing is that the way that we built this frame is responsive. So it's actually going to work on mobile as well. So it'll work on mobile and tablet also. All right.
That's awesome. Thanks, Chris. I'm loving this so far. It's going to be good.
All right. And so let's see. We've got about 10 or 15 minutes left. I know that you were interested in maybe taking a look at the advertising tool. Do you want to jump over to that?
Yeah, let's do that. Thank you.
Perfect. All right. And so to do that, I'm going to just go ahead and close out of your website. And that'll bring me back to Hub 21. And so to promote a listing, I'm actually just going to click the C21Promote button. And that's going to take me to the promote landing page. All right, and so this is where you can actually learn a little bit about it. We've got some cool explainer videos here that explain how to promote your listing or promote your services, runs through how it works, and generally takes about 5 minutes. I'm not going to create an ad. But I will walk through the whole process of how to, if that works for you.
Sure.
Perfect. Okay, and so to create a listing ad, I'm going to just go ahead and click on New Ad, and then Listing. And then once I click on Listing, you'll see that it's going to show all of your listings here. And since we're getting your listings from multiple sources, we're getting them from both Okanagan Mainline and from Korea, you can actually see what board they come from here. And so this is the Korea version, this is the Okanagan one. So you can make sure that you're selecting the right listing to direct people to. All right, I'm going to go ahead and click Next. And basically what this is going to do is take me to a builder. And so in the builder, I have the ability to now write a description of this listing that's 125 characters. I can do a headline, any additional text that I want. And once again, the destination page is going to be set to the listing page on your agent website. And so let's go ahead and take a look at your actual listing page. So this is the actual listing page for this property. You can see it right here with this big, beautiful photo gallery. Your contact information right on the side here. And then as people scroll through the listing, your contact information is going to hang out right next to them. And then there's also this fantastic widget for local logic. where they can click in and learn a little bit more about the area, what's going on there. Is it car friendly? Grocery stores that are in the area, where they're located. So how far away they are driving. Also any local nightlife, restaurants, a whole bunch of really fantastic content about the area that's highlighted there for people to be able to use.
I have a question. So can we add, I can see right now that the main grocery store isn't in that list for that area. Do we have the capability to update or grab something on a map and throw that in?
Unfortunately, no. This is automatically generated through a partner that we're working with called Local Logic. But I think they might be open to learning that there's some other things on there that could be included. And so I would encourage you to let the team over at Century 21 know so they can reach out to your rep there.
Okay, thanks.
And then down below is actually the Google Map version, where you can go ahead and drop right in and do an actual street view search of all of the area. And so it gives you the ability to not just see the listing map there, but to actually take a look at the location as though you were there.
Okay.
All right, and so that's where we're going to land people on these listings. Obviously, we've got walk score and bike score down at the bottom as well. So when somebody creates an ad by default, this is where we would normally land them. We select their listing by default, but you can actually choose the destination page. So if you wanted to change that to a custom page and maybe land them on a lead capture form or an open house invitation, you could do that as well.
Okay.
All right, and so let's edit the description. So what should we put in for brief description for this listing?
You can just put waterfront condo at Legacy on Mare Lake.
On Mare Lake?
M-A-R-A, yeah.
Mare. Okay, waterfront condo. Just listed, or you can put a custom headline here, or you can use one of the pre-populated headlines.
You can just put just listed is fine.
Okay, perfect. And then any additional text that you want to add here, we're pulling in Sigmos BC automatically, but you can have up to 64 characters here.
Okay.
And then if you want to, you can include your name and photo. And so we'll go ahead and pop your name and photo on there. And then if you wanted to add a status badge, for example, just listed, and choose a color for what that status badge would be, you can as well. I'll just put a nice green one because people love to see green. And then we've got our just listed ad here. And so this preview is going to show you what it will actually look like live on Facebook newsfeed. And then you can choose how much you want to spend on an ad and how long you'd like to run it. I do want to call out that all of these amounts are in US dollars. We haven't had a chance to convert this to the Canadian dollar yet. So this is all going to be in US dollars. And you've got a few options for how much you want to spend on an ad and how long you want to run that ad for. And you can also calculate your reach on that ad based on what you've put in. And so you can see how many people that ad is going to reach. And then you've got a couple of targeting options. One is you can target between 15 to 50 miles of the listing address, or you can use a city. And so where do people usually move to the Okanagan from?
So this is a recreational property and the area is almost 100% supported by Calgary.
Got it.
Maybe put that in as a city. That's great.
Yeah,
easy.
We can just type in search and we've got Calgary, Alberta right there. And we can go ahead and pop that in. And then you can also see how that updates our reach as well for selecting that city. And then once you've got your budget all set, that's the third step. The last step is to review your ad, make sure that it looks good. And then you can use a credit card to pay for your ad. And we'll actually just submit and place it for you on Facebook, Instagram, and Display Network. it's going to be optimized automatically by Facebook's algorithm to get the most possible impressions. And so they're going to split your ad over Facebook, Instagram, and Display Network for whatever's going to get the most eyeballs on it.
Okay. And can we do the same, not at the moment, but can you promote yourself as an agent, or is it only a property?
No, you can definitely promote yourself as an agent. And so I'll actually back out of this. And then the other option is a
Okay.
services ad. And so this is actually a pretty quick one that I can show you. Is very similar to the listing ad, where you can put in a description of yourself, select a headline, and then choose a destination page. And it can either go to your website or a custom page. A great use case for this is actually to send people to your neighborhood news page so that they can sign themselves up for neighborhood news. And there's some fantastic social images that have been created by the team at Century 21 for you to be able to use for this that are available right here on the C21 hub in the image library. And so some really cool images that you can use there for advertising your listings.
Great.
All right. Well, we've got a couple of minutes left. Are there any other things you want to talk about, Paige?
I can see it's got a huge capability, and I imagine we're just scratching the surface here. So this has given me a lot today to work on and customize my website. Is there anything else that you would suggest in the few minutes we have left?
Yeah, and so there are one or two things that I would suggest. One is using neighborhood news. And so your neighborhood news page here is connected to your Engage account, which is your CRM. And I don't know why this is taking so long for me to load. It's connected directly to your CRM. And when somebody fills this out, it's going to create a contact profile, like I've mentioned for you, but it's also going to send them a really meaningful report and capture castle consent for them as well. So if you have the opportunity to include that in things like ads, you have the opportunity to include that in things like Facebook posts, that's going to drive traffic back to your website and get people looking at really valuable content. The other thing that I would recommend is on your community pages, really taking the time to build out content. And so taking the time to really get in there and maybe create a few of these for communities that you really want to work in and customize them. Show people just sort of what your expertise is. If you've had the ability to walk around and maybe take a video of an area, if it's hosted on YouTube, Vimeo, or Dailymotion, it'd be really easy to just pop that in using one of the page builder widgets. And so I think taking the time to really build out a couple of these community pages for areas that you want to work. If you've got video, using the standard video module here to just go ahead and drag it in. And all you have to do is type in either drop in the embed, or if there's structured data, you can use a URL. Really easy way to include content on a site and differentiate yourself. The Century 21 team did a whole bunch of work up front to make these sites really beautiful and functional for the consumer, so that if you didn't want to do anything, you didn't have to. But I really think setting yourself apart by showing your expertise in a community, building out a little bit of content for your clients to be able to look at, is going to be a huge differentiator. And like you said at the beginning of this call, Paige, you get a lot of leads to your site and have traditionally, right?
Yeah.
And that's probably because you've put the work in to differentiate.
I know I've had a lot of clients say, even listing clients, and we're looking for listings right now, I'll say, how did you come to me? Well, we were online and we like Century 21, or we found Century 21, and then we just really like your, what you have to say. And I have an introduction. It's probably a little bit longer. I'm going to pare it down a bit. That's a little reflective of me. I do get a little too much data, but people do get a sense of who I am and how I work, and why that works for me as well. Not only am I capturing that client, I'm capturing a client who connects to what I have to say. So they're people that I enjoy working with because we're already connecting based on the content. And so that's part of why I really like to customize it as well.
No, and I think that's a fantastic reason to do it, right? Because now people can see who they're going to be working with before they reach out.
Yeah, their expectation is already sort of set, and they're choosing me based on that. So I often don't compete for their business. They're really feeling connected with that first phone call. Yeah.
That's fantastic. Well, once again, thank you for the time and going through this with me. I'm really glad I was able to show you, and I hope you can use some of these tools that we've talked about today to really differentiate your website so you can keep connecting with people in that really.
Yeah, thank you, Chris and Century 21. I appreciate these tools and the tutorial just to help me flesh that out a little bit more and make it customizable. So thank you.
All right, Chris, I have some questions for you from our peanut gallery today. Could real satisfied sites show up like this under the testimonials banner on the homepage?
You can, and so you can create a testimonial menu item and have them show up like this under it. We do also have a real satisfied widget. It pulls in your reviews, but it doesn't have the real satisfied badging on it. It's just their stock WordPress widget. So if you wanted to have the badging, then creating a menu link or a custom page is probably the better way to do it.
Great. Someone says, I see 3 boards are linked to my site. Are all 3 collecting data?
We're displaying data for all of those boards. And so
Great.
someone searches in any of those boards, they'll see listings.
Murray asks, can you set up the custom search for specific areas within a city? I'm guessing different neighborhoods.
Yes, you can. Custom search can be as granular as you want it to be. One thing to note, though, is if you make it too granular, it may not return listings. So if you make it a city block and there's nothing currently active on that city block, then it won't return any listings.
Good to know. Can you do this with Google reviews? And that question came in when you were talking about the real satisfied. Can you frame that in?
Google reviews allow embeds as well. I believe they allow embeds where you can grab a piece of embed code. It works very similarly to what I did with the iframe. You would just drag over an HTML module, drop the embed code in there, and it'll display those reviews.
Great. This one is from Scott. What if you have 4 offices and want to show all 4 offices listings, not just the office the agent is in?
If you wanted to show, and so that's a different site type. So you would want to talk to your FSA. We have what's called an office group site type, which is great for an entire company to showcase its multiple offices. Great. So there is a way to do that. Those are the questions. Thank you very much. Great information. Paige, thank you. I hope you're like, wow, I have a website. I have a more customized website now. That's very exciting. So thank you very much for joining us. Chris, thank you. And thank you everyone at home. I hope, as Murray said, I just got to get in and start doing it. So I hope you are now motivated to give this a go, and you can pull this webinar up on a different screen and walk through it with them and do it as you go. So you can make it look exactly as you want. Next week is Easter Monday, so we will not be doing a webinar next week. We will be back on April 12th. So I wish you a happy start to the spring, a happy Easter. Stay healthy, stay safe, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye. Take care, everyone.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.